In this lesson of Sharh Kitab al-Da'i wad-Dawa, Al-Shaykh Abd al-Razzaq al-Badr Hifadahullah continues with Ibn al-Qayyim Rahimahullah to explain that the worst sin of all is shirk, and that every other sin, no matter how serious, comes below it. Ibn al-Qayyim reminds us that shirk is not just another act of disobedience. It is a direct contradiction of the very purpose of creation, Tawheed, worshipping Allah alone, and directing all acts of ibadah purely to Him. Because of this, shirk is the ugliest act, the greatest injustice, and the most serious crime, deserving the severest punishment. The Shaykh highlights that Allah has clearly stated that He does not forgive that partners be associated with Him, but He forgives whatever is less than that for whom He wills. He has also made paradise forbidden for the one who dies upon shirk, and has promised the fire as his eternal home, with no helpers and no escape. This alone shows that shirk is at the top of all major sins. Ibn al-Qayyim then explains that shirk, in reality, is to place someone alongside Allah in what belongs only to Allah, the love of worship, absolute fear, hope, dua, trust, tawakkul, vows, sacrifice, and all other forms of ibadah. Whoever directs any of these acts to other than Allah has taken that being as a partner, even if he says with his tongue that Allah alone creates and provides. The Shaykh reminds us that the mushrikeen at the time of the Prophet ﷺ said, "We only worship them so that they bring us closer to Allah, and these are our intercessors with Allah." They did not claim that these idols created or controlled the universe, but they turned them into intermediaries and saints through whom they called, sought help, and placed their hopes. Yet Allah still called them polytheists and threatened them with the most severe punishment. Ibn al-Qayyim shows that their mistake came from a false analogy. They compared the Lord of the worlds to a human king, thinking, "You never go to a king directly, you go through ministers and close people. So we should not call upon Allah directly either, we must go through intermediaries." They forgot that Allah is not like His creation, that He is closer to the servant than his jugular vein, and that He promised to answer those who call upon Him directly without any barrier. The Shaykh clarifies that anyone who places between himself and Allah intermediaries that he invokes, begs, calls upon in hardship, or relies on instead of Allah, has fallen into major shirk, even if he says with his mouth that only Allah creates and sustains. Ibn al-Qayyim then mentions different forms of shirk in worship. Shirk in dua, calling upon someone dead or a saint or prophet, asking them for what only Allah can give. Shirk in fear and hope, fearing a created being with a fear of worship, or hoping from them what should only be hoped from Allah. Shirk in love, loving someone like the love due to Allah, or even more, putting their words and wishes above Allah's command and the Sunnah. He also speaks about minor shirk, such as showing off, swearing by other than Allah, or saying phrases like, "What Allah willed and you willed," without saying then. This type does not expel a person from Islam, but it is very dangerous, because it can sneak into deeds and reduce or erase their reward. The Prophet ﷺ said, "The thing I fear most for you is minor shirk," and he explained that it is riyā. The Shaykh concludes by reminding us that true Tawheed is not achieved only by avoiding statues and idols. It means purifying the heart from attachment to other than Allah, loving Allah above all, placing in Him alone our fear, hope, and trust, and aiming in all acts of worship only for Allah's face, without seeking people's praise or attention. Whoever understands this knows that the greatest thing to protect in this life is to meet Allah with a sound heart, full of Tawheed, free from major and minor shirk.